We are in Salt Lake City, Utah, home of conservatives, home of Republicans, people who voted for Trump. We are protesting. There's like 1,000+ people here right now, filling the whole Capitol. It's a beautiful thing to see in this time in America where we're so divided. So to this protest, like what made y'all come today?
I just think Trump is destroying our constitutional government. He is picking favorites, and that's not how our government was meant to be.
Well, what y'all come today?
For constitutional rights, third term isn't acceptable. Destroying teachers, firefighters, the people that build our country, the people that help support us. Like, we're here for the little people, and obviously the billionaires don't care about them. We're just the slave labor class.
What about you, brother?
For taking away like documents that we all should have public access to, like cancer research, like women's rights, like healthcare, all that.
Right, you mentioned billionaires. We've seen even more billionaires, right? Trump's administration is like the net worth of like $350 billion, right? What is y'all's response to billionaires currently? How should we address them? What do y'all think about it in general? Whoever.
Billionaires should be giving their money away, not hoarding more money and more power. It's ridiculous. They have plenty, and there's so many people in the world who need more.
Absolutely.
I think just like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And so the billionaires that are using it well, they do exist out there, and they can be good examples. And so we should be sharing the wealth and helping people.
I think they shouldn't be able to make over X amount. I think they shouldn't be able to just like take out stocks and get a loan on that. I think we should pass legislation that should prevent them from just being able to basically get around laws that we have to like pay their fair share. That's what I think we should do.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate y'all's time.
Yeah, thank you. What was your name again?
I'm Sebastian. Nice to see you. Hey, what prompted you to come out to this protest today?
I'm a veteran, of course. And the direction our country is heading is right down the tubes. We're not going to be able to survive this year, much less any length of time into the future with a president whose only interests are in himself, basically.
As a veteran, what would you say to like other veterans who might be supporting Trump? Talk about that veteran experience,
Well, my question to them is why? He's insulted veterans on almost any and every occasion he's spoken out publicly. And he's not doing anything in particular for them. He's denying veterans benefits now through cutting jobs in the VA and so forth. I see no reason why anyone should support him at all.
In an internal memo obtained by the Associated Press, the Department of Veterans Affairs is planning to cut 80,000 jobs.
What brought you out to protest today?
I've been active for a long time, for about, 5 years or so. I try to follow these. I love seeing the community. That's a really important thing for me. It's just seeing like-minded individuals in a world that seems so diluted by hate, and being like, walking up the hill, hearing the roaring crowd. It's like we are united, and we are the majority. So feeling that sense of unity.
Facts. We have seen, people are protesting for a variety of reasons, right? But we have seen political prisoners under the presidency of Donald Trump, right? We have seen Mahmoud Khalil. We've seen, and it's not even just one, like there's countless of them. What is your reaction to Donald Trump taking political prisoners because they don't agree with him?
It's obviously fascism. It's censorship, and it dismantles a community that's built on the strength of empowered people. It's taking these people who are in leadership positions and who are outspoken advocates, and it's shooting a movement in the foot by taking away the face, because movements need faces. And if you target the face, then everybody gets scared and scattered, and obviously we're here now showing that even if they tried to dismantle our communities, they can't, because there are so many of us. But it is fascism.
It is.
It's just straight
up fascism.
I guess we're both public land workers. So we've been very much affected by everything that's been going on, and we still have our jobs, but many people we've worked with have lost their jobs and everything.
Friends were fired.
Our friends.
Wow, and talk to me about like how it's affected y'all personally. It's a very unique case. You've seen your friends lose their job. Talk to me about that.
Oh, it's horrible. It's really sad. We're not able to do the work that we want to do, which is basically just to help people, trails and bathrooms and public services. So it's been horrible. So it's awesome to see this many people out. But obviously there's tons of stuff to be mad about.
For sure. And what's y'all's reaction? I see the sign that says "Fork Elon," right? Or Elon go fork yourself, which I agree, right?
Yeah.
Fuck Elon, fuck Trump.
Hell yeah.
All right, why are y'all here protesting?
I'm here to fight like people who look like me, people who are part of my community, and just equal rights. That's basically at the end of the day. If you can't agree on basic human rights, I don't want to talk about it. So,
what's your thought?
I just need to know that I wasn't alone in all these thoughts. You start to think you're the only one thinking something's wrong. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to see if there was anyone that would show up, and damn, did we show up?
Did they? Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, what is your reaction to the first 3 months of the Trump presidency?
Honestly, disgust. It's been just shock after shock, but that's what authoritarian figures do. They try to exhaust us with that shock. So
Come on.
I just have been anxious, and I just started doing volunteer work to get that anxiety out, and especially now that so many of our voluntary services are going to be lost. So you just got to turn that disgust into action, which is why we're all here. I think everyone agrees that this is just not good.
No, for sure. All right. So you have a very powerful sign. If you've wondered what you would have done during the slavery, the Holocaust or civil rights movement, you're doing it right now. Talk to me about that. Wait. Talk to me about it.
I think that the times right now are as bad as they were when these things were going on. And I think that there's a lot of people just turning their back and thinking that it couldn't happen here.
Right.
And it can.
Yeah.
I think our generation, we've had it easy for so long, and we don't think that it could happen here, and I think it very much could. So I'm trying to just get out and spread the word, and I'm glad that you guys are out here too.
Absolutely. We're seeing so many similarities between Nazis and Trump's administration right now, with deportations and putting people in the gulag in El Salvador even.
At how the Trump administration's transferred another group of immigrants to a supermax mega prison complex in El Salvador.
And deporting them, and all of the different things, right?
There's a lot of similarities. Right? How different is it than, rounding up people without due process and putting them on planes and sending them to another country than it was when the Nazis rounded up and put them on trains and sent them east.
Yeah.
About the same playbook, I think, might be following.
Yeah. There are projected 10,000 people right now in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Capitol protesting Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and all the rest of goofballs that he works with. I've been talking to people, and I feel right now that people feel hopeless, people feel lost, people feel like they don't know what they can do to fight against the current administration, to secure democracy for the future. And there's a lot of things. The thing that you have to do to ensure that we continue to have democracy, to fight against Donald Trump, is to do anything and do everything that you possibly can. Protest, call your senators, call your representatives, vote for better people, push for true progressive policies, talk to your coworkers, your friends, your families every time they say something. The power is ours, but it's up to us to use it. So stand in your power. Black Menaces. We are a media organization. We push inspirational content and media to empower marginalized individuals. Okay. Make people know, educate them. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay. Your sign. Can we flip it for the people? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And I like it. It says, "Well-behaved women resist."
Yeah.
There is currently an attack on women's rights, the ability for women to control their bodies and to exist properly and safely. And I think a lot of times they talk about well-behaved women. So talk to me about the sign. Talk to me about you.
So the sign's based on a famous statement from the Pulitzer Prize-winning historian Laurel Thatcher Ulrich, well-behaved women seldom make history. And I just want to point out that there's room for well-behaved and super angry women in their resistance to stand up for our rights and stand up for what we believe in, for women and for marginalized people and whoever we need to resist against. There's room for well-behaved and there's room for everyone.
We have seen Donald Trump take political prisoners and college students. We have seen him target, law offices, and we have seen him target the news and in universities. That's very fascist, right? And what's your response to him trying to, please, And you're free to come in too.
This is my response.
Yeah.
That education and agitation are our best weapons against fascism, are against attacks on free speech, and are against attacks on knowledge dissemination to the people. That's what we need.
Yeah, and what do you have to say to like the university's presidents of like Harvard and Columbia who have caved to President Trump in even willing to change their educational program?
I say step up, stand against it. That's your job as educators, to point out the flaws and the dangers of fascism that are happening.
Is we've seen President Trump take political prisoners in our college students with Mahmoud Khalil, and even more, the woman from Columbia as well. We have seen him try to control law offices and universities. What is your reaction to Donald Trump trying to superimpose his government onto everybody? What's your thought on that?
I mean, that just is what a king does. Yeah. It's tyranny. It's not a huge betrayal to our country, but I think it's just showing the suppression of speech. Like, if he can control that, then he's in power, but he's not. Yeah. And even if people get arrested, like, look at how many people showed up for our college students to get arrested. Right. Like, we just have to keep making those right decisions, even if they're saying you're going to get arrested. That's not important anymore. We have to do the right thing because they're getting arrested. They don't care. Right. So I just think that this is what a king does, and he's going to exhaust us with all of these orders, and he's going to try to suppress us, and we just have to be so loud and keep going, which is why you guys are awesome.
Amen. Thank you.
I have one more. I'm
Please.
really frustrated with the Utah School Board right now, which is attacking teachers for teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion.
The Utah State Board of Education meeting, drawing all the attention, a resolution directing removal of DEI in Utah schools. Though an anti-DEI law is already on the books in Utah, board member Christina Bogus and 4 other board members sponsored the resolution.
And I feel like as a parent of children as a senior and in college students, that they are limiting the ability of my children and of all of us to be active and to be fully prepared for the real world. They created an imaginary world and are trying to create laws to enforce that and procedures to enforce that, and they're shutting out children from their full potential, their full education, their full economic future, and that's really frustrating to see it even at that level, not just at college levels, but at our local universities that trumpet the idea, pardon the pun, trumpet the idea of local control, and they've given that up. With that kind of enforcement.
Very well said. Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
For your work.
Happily.
You're amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing. Yeah, appreciate y'all. What are your thoughts about Elon, his involvement in the administration, all of it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems illegal. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy how someone can get so much power so quickly and just do so many reckless things in such a short amount of time. And obviously we're a small group of people, but federal workers in general, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people who are affected by job loss and job insecurity and all that kind of stuff. And that's a huge part of the American population. And we're not just federal workers, we're community members, we're just people in general, and we want to do our job. And it's really shitty what's going on.
Yeah. Any thoughts from you, though?
Echo the same. And just a huge conflict of interest. Everything he's doing is in violation. If anybody else did it, they'd be, thrown in jail. And he gets to do all this stuff, so really upsetting.
Even just like with that Tesla commercial at the White House, that was in violation of the Hatch Act, you know what I mean?
Totally.
You can't do an ad in front of the biggest house in the country. All right. I appreciate y'all's time.
Right on, man.
What are your thoughts on them specifically and all of the actions that they've taken to attack so many different groups of people?
I just think
they're so long-winded.
You're okay, man. I just think they're scared, honestly. Diversity is so important, and honestly, that's how, at least our country, I feel was built, and it makes it beautiful. But I think they know, the more that people know as a whole, they're like, wait a minute, whatever you are teaching or whatever you are standing by is not. It is not for the people. So.
What about you? What's your thoughts, though?
It's these powerful men trying to stay at the top, trying to get their hold on their power, and
Yeah.
And but yeah, look at the people. They're speaking right now.
Yeah.
The people want something different.
Yeah. True. Thank you. Always good to see you. Good to see you. What's been your overall reaction to Donald Trump, his actions, and also the actions of his administration?
It's mostly been anger and just frustration.
Okay. And what would you say, what is your response to the Democrats who have not really responded or done anything to resist or push back against Donald Trump?
Also anger and just, I feel betrayed.
Yeah. Talk to me about that. What led to that betrayal, you feel like?
I am transgender, and they have not been responsible with fighting those bills against me and just thousands of other people.
We need Democrats that are willing to risk re-election. We need Democrats and people in politics who are willing to lose to do what's right. And I think that, is related to whether that's a free Palestine or whether that's getting Trump out of office, right? Like, we need people willing to do things that are not done. Appreciate your time, buddy.
No.
Unless you have something else, please.
No, you guys are good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time, yes, sir. As somebody who has been, observing everything, right? What is your response to this constant lack of response by the Democrats?
Oh my God, I think everyone here is just like, where's the grown-ups in the room? When is someone going to act?
Right.
And I know that a lot of us are very moral and like we have to do this like by the paper and the red pages, but that's just not working anymore. I need someone to go in there and kick ass a little bit. We need someone there to hold these powers accountable, because why can they go ahead and do all of these things to us, but we can't respond ever? So
no, I mean, 100% agree. It's interesting when we think about, like, I think they said earlier, like 46 executive orders on Trump were already considered unconstitutional, right? And I think it's crazy that Democrats in office, we have somebody clearly doing illegal, unconstitutional things, and there's been one speech and somebody walked out of the State of the Union.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like there has to be more.
There has to be more. We're hungry for it. Everyone's hungry for it.
Yeah, there's 10,000 people here right now.
Yeah, so.
What is your response, as a well-behaved woman resisting? What's your response to the lack of response by Democrats?
My response to the lack of response is the reason I'm here. We need a response. My representatives are all Republicans, but I've been calling them, and I've been trying to, when I see movement from the Democrats, I've been calling to say thank you to them as well. So definitely need more movement from the Democrats.
Absolutely. What is your response to the lack of response by Democrats?
Oh, it pisses me off. It's really disappointing. It shows, what we have been saying the whole time, that it is just this two sides of the same story, that they are underneath the guise of like liberalism. They are also motivated by power, and they're motivated by money, and it doesn't come back down to the people unless it threatens their lives directly and their money.
Murals honoring people who have been killed at the hands of police have now been removed.
And this comes as planned redevelopment on the site moves forward. Our Christian Sita joins us now live in Salt Lake with more. Christian.
Yeah, good afternoon. Now, the murals that stood here once are now all gone. The last ones were torn down yesterday. Now, I do want to show you that area really quickly here. This is what we're seeing here, the remains of the building and the murals.
They recently destroyed the mural of police victims. Right? That's an embodiment of everything that we're existing through today. Talk to me about your thoughts on that.
Honestly, it was really sad. I saved an image that there was of Reddit of all the murals laying down, because I don't know, it just feels like a huge loss of like those people. Like they lost their lives for what? Because Mayor Mendenhall doesn't want them up anymore? Like, I don't know, it kind of just felt like a huge big grief. It's a loss, and there's a way to keep those murals up. There's a way to keep people who are brutally murdered by the police alive in our community, and we can make a park, we can make a mural, and I just don't see any movement on that, but we could do more.
They just removed the Black Lives Matter mural up here, right, in Salt Lake. What's your reaction to them moving that, and what's like kind of like the embodiment of the time that, like there's kind of like a metaphorical parallel almost?
So, I mean, we're at the beginning of this presidency, and it's erasure of what we have endured. I think a lot in this presidency we're seeing new ideologies like develop, and people becoming more hateful and not standing up for things that they used to stand up for, especially people in government.
And then finally, just talk to me about your sign. Yeah, obviously, you said some Nazis wear blue ACAB, right? Talk to me about that.
I've had negative experiences with the police, and just they're corrupt. They harm more than doing good things.
I run something organization called the Black Menaces.
If you look around right now, like 95% of this crowd is white. White people that live or are from Utah, a conservative-ass place. If you look around and notice that everybody's white, what does that mean? It means that we're gathering the masses. You know, normally when you see a protest, it's not just white people, especially not representing against anti-Trump rally. But if 95% of this audience here in Utah can be white and still represent the values that America does not want, to me that screams hope, because we know how black people feel, and now we just have to work on gathering all the variety of people so we can be unified for a common cause. Look around. This is power. This means that we can, and this means that we are capable. This means that we will, if we keep doing this. Look around. We're one. We're unified. We're the problem that they will have to solve. Let's put the pressure on Trump, on Elon. Let's let them never forget who we are. Look around.